So, my current position at Good Game Studios is that I am the art director for the live ops. That, of course, includes Empire. And I'm with the company since forever, since I can remember, really. That means also like right from the beginning of Empire, since it started, like all those 10 years ago. That's actually really difficult because in the beginning it was all about actually creating Empire, and that was quite a feat because at this time I was fresh out of university and I had no idea what I was doing, and I had to basically think about like what does this game need first. One of the very first things that I do remember is actually working on the logo, which is a weird thing nowadays because now I know what I did wrong. Back then, as I said, I had no idea. I never made a logo, even remotely worked on something like this, and I had basically 2 days to make it, and if I had known how successful the game would have become, I would have maybe pressed for having a couple of hours more. The bits I worked on in the game, it's almost too much to even remember, since as I said, like in the beginning it was me, and then shortly after we hired another artist, and we basically did everything in the beginning. We worked on like the really old school things like the Thorn Kingdom, the map for the Island Kingdom. In all honesty, I think working with really talented artists has been my nicest thought, or like when I go back and think about it, like this is the thing that I treasure the most, because I worked with them on so many different things and got the opportunity to meet so many great people, and I think that's what I love the most about the game. The biggest challenge in a game, especially in a game that is as old, is how do you keep it fresh? In the beginning, we had like a lot of ideas, and we were trying out a couple of daring things that no one did back in the days with a game like this. And when a game like this grows and it stands the test of time for so long, it just becomes a challenge to what do you give the players? Like, do you introduce new mechanics? Do you refine old mechanics? Do you take maybe something away from old mechanics that some players really like and try to reinvent the wheel? The gaming landscape has not stood still since we launched Empire, and keeping still honest to what Empire is and at the same time trying to modernize it has been, I think, the biggest challenge for us. That is really difficult to answer, because my first thought is going back to characters from the very beginning, because those representing like I don't know, like the honeymoon phase with Empire, where like we were excited about like everything we did, and like seeing the game grow, and again like seeing all the talented artists put their own spin on the characters. And I think if I had to choose one that really stands out to me is maybe the adventurer. I cannot even tell you why. I think it's just a nice color palette, the genuine expression of adventure on his face. I think that represents for me like time in Empire where also we as a team were like very adventurous, and that we had no idea what they were. So like I think I can identify a little bit with this character. I would like to see in our game like something like avatars, for example, where people can maybe create more of their own story, like more of a personality. I know that we have the crests, and those are great, and I really love them. Wish we would expand on those. But if you could really be like a character in the Empire world, if you could have different hairstyles, have different skin color, different facial hair, like different genders, like different crowns, different hats, different outfits, and so on. And maybe then like show yourself off to your friends or in your alliance, that you like come together as those avatars and really show like, this is my path in Empire, this is my character, this is how I am represented in the game. The process of creating assets for the game usually starts with game design and with the lore, where we need to see like, what is it actually that we need to create an asset for? Is it a new event? Is it maybe a new spin on an event? Is it a new kingdom? Is it whatever it might be? And then we are looking at, is this tied to something that we already have in the game? And if yes, can we use what we established for those older things into the new edition? Or is it something brand new? And then we go into a research phase. If we need new tools, if we need a new character, if we need new units and so on, we go into just browsing on the web. Like, what is actually, like in medieval times, what did this look like? Or like, is there a rendition that we really like from media or from wherever? And then we go in, we merge those ideas with the Empire style, and then we work on it, and then we hope that people are satisfied with it. Yeah, so for our games, at least in the live ops, we are quite specific that we use Adobe Illustrator, that we use vector for our art. We, of course, in the beginning, we create concepts in Photoshop, and then when it comes to actually doing the game assets, we bring those Photoshop concepts into final vector. It's a bit of a different frame of mind that you have to have as an artist. Instead of working with pixels, you work with shapes, and that is sometimes challenging, at least when you start out in the game. But then after a while you really come to embrace what this tool can give you and what the style can bring to the game. But those are, I would say, unique requirements. If you've seen like what you can usually do with Illustrator files or with vector files in other games, you would be quite surprised, because we go one step beyond with the details that we create. Personally, I really like working on world map objects, like how you can give your castles a different look on the world map, because we can be very free. We experiment a lot with those. On one hand, sometimes we try to stick to the look and feel of the originals. Sometimes we go completely bonkers. We go completely wild with what we can do there. And I certainly hope that people really like also those ideas that are a little bit out there. I remember that we not only made pyramids, we also made like eldritch things coming out of the ground, or like giant Easter eggs and stuff like that. And I really hope that people like those and are not only looking for like a medieval castle with a few more spikes on it, because I think with those things that everyone can see and are really out there, you can again like show who you are as a player. Like, what do you value? Do you want to be a little bit quirky? Do you want to be a little bit more traditional, or however you like it? I think it's this level of expression that I honestly really like. The best part of being a game artist is to translate pretty high level concepts that game design has into something that people look at, people can explore, people see. The first thing they open a new event, or they are informed about a new thing in the forums, and people are asking themselves, oh, is there a new character? Is there a lore behind this? Are there new visuals? Like, where will this journey take us this time? This is a Outer Realms event, for example. What does it mean? Like where do we actually go? Because without art, it's just words, and those words are very, very important to the beginning of the process. But you need to have something that you want to engage with on a visual level, and I think that's the most gratifying aspect of this.